Hi there! First of all, I want to thank you for buying the photo animator. I'm overwhelmed by the reception. Every day I read so many sweet comments and the number of sales are just unbelievable. It really makes me happy that people from all over the world are using my animator. So thank you. Secondly, I would like to let you know that I will always give my best in helping you if you have any problems. So please don't hesitate to write me. I'm always happy to help. Also, please write me if you have any suggestions on other features or how to make the photo animator better, because I'm trying to make this as awesome as possible. So your input and feedback will help me a lot. So I hope this tool will save you a lot of time and helps you like it does for me, and have fun with the tutorials. See you, bye bye. Okay, so I've split this tutorial into 4 parts. In this first part I'm going to explain all the functions of it, and the other 3 parts are examples of what you can do with it. So let's start. When you first open the photo animator, it will look something like this, and you can see that there are 2 main folders, the edit and the no edit one. Of course, you only should use the edit folder. There you can find the 2 resolutions, the full HD and the ultra HD one. So at first you're gonna have to decide if you want to work with a full HD video or ultra HD. Okay, right now I'm gonna use the 1080p one, the full HD one. So at first you're gonna have to import a picture. You can just open a folder and drag it into here. By the way, all the pictures I'm going to use for the tutorial are taken from unsplash.com. I'm going to have the links in the PDF file so you can download the pictures, and I'm also going to give you the tutorials as a project file so you can see what I have done. Okay, after you have imported the picture, you can drag it into the put source composition like this, and you can rescale it so it's in the canvas. Everything between these 2 black bars will be visible. You still can pan upwards and downwards, but this is the main part you're going to see at first. So after you have put the source, you can open the 1080 set mask composition. This is where you set your masks. So if you want to set the mask, you're gonna select the pen tool. Then you have to be sure to click on the layer mask, otherwise you will create a shape layer. That is what you don't want. So click on mask, have the pen tool selected, and draw your mask. So right now I'm just gonna surround the rock, which is the main part of this picture, I think. So after done this, you can see you have selected, created a mask. Now you can go into the 1080 main output composition. If you don't have them already open, just double click on it and it will open. So here you're gonna see all the controls. You have 5 crosshairs. I'm gonna explain you what they do, and you have the controls here. So you have to go to Effect Controls. There you can see all the controls you have. So yeah, let's start with the controls. So the visual help mode. You can from this mask there are 8 layers being created, so you can move these layers, and to better see what you do, you can have a visual help mode and you see the layers. The first slider is the layer size. You can decide how big each layer is, so I would always have them spread over the picture evenly. The second slider is the edge blur, the feather. Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. when you're feathering the edges of the layers. Then you have a slider called expansion contraction off target. I've named everything that is inside the mask is the target, and everything outside the mask or the furthest from the mask is the off target. So if you have expansion contraction off target, means that the most outer layers will be affected most. With this effect you can have something like flying into the picture. With the expansion contraction target slider, you mainly move the target, the object that is surrounded by your mask. So with this you can pull the target in and out of the picture. The blur amount is created so you can have a camera blur. It mainly blurs one layer, and the other layers will be less affected. So if you have the blur selected, you always can have the next slider, the focus layer. Now the focus layer is on the first. This is the outside layer, and if you can move it and you can pull the focus to the inner layer. Of course you can have it in between and animate it. The last slider in this control panel is the scale everything slider. This just scales the whole picture. You might need that. Okay, so let's go to the crosshairs. Like scaling everything, the yellow crosshair moves everything. Nothing will be done to the effects, it just moves the whole picture like it is. The blue crosshair moves mainly the target, so everything that is inside your mask. You can see this is being mainly moved. Let me unblur the picture. Okay, by the way, if you want to have the controls displayed all the time, you can have the lock here. So when I touch the blue cross or any other cross, this will still be visible. Okay, so the red cross moves mainly the off target, so mainly the outer layers. Okay, the other two crosshairs, the green and purple ones, I'm going to explain you after I set the second mask. So let's set a second mask. Let's go into 1080 set mask and let's just select this rock in the foreground. So now we have I'm going to switch to the main output composition. You see the rock in the foreground is being put over the other picture. So this is an object I put inside the environment. To have the controls of the object, you can click on Object Controls. So you notice it will not show here. That's because you still have the lock on. So you have to unlock it, and now you see the object controls. They are pretty much the same like the other controls. You have the object layer size. You have the object edge blur. You have the expansion contraction. This is with the weighting most on the inner layer. So you can have it something like this. And then you have the object blur amount. This blurs the whole object. And then you have the object scales, it scales the whole object. and then you can parent it to the first mask. So you can parent this to the other rock if you want, or whatever you have selected in the first mask. This is sometimes very helpful. So let's see what the crosshairs do. With the purple crosshair you can just relocate the whole object. With the green crosshair you can mainly move the inner layers, so you can have an effect like it looks like you are slightly turning the object. This looks very cool in combination with moving into the picture or something like this. We will see it in the examples. Yes, and then of course you can animate all the effects I just showed you. So for instance, if you want to have the flying into the picture animated, you can go to a point in time, set the stopwatch, then move in time and do something like this. Let me set the timeline to the same length, then I hit 0 for render preview, and you see I animated this. If you want to see the keyframes, just go into Controls, Effects, and then you see the expansion contraction of target. It created 2 keyframes. You can of course move those keyframes so it happens more quickly, or delete them, add keyframes like going back and forth or something, whatever you want. Yeah, the same goes for the crosshairs. You can move a crosshair, something like this. You click on the blue one, hit P for position, and click the stopwatch, so it records keyframes. So now you have 1 keyframe here. You can move in time and move the blue cross, so this will animate the blue cross. Can go in the middle, turn it down here so you have like a curve, and yeah, you can do that for all the crosses and all the controls. Okay, let me delete those keyframes. If you want to reset the crosshairs to the original position, you can open them and hit the reset button. It will reset it to the original position, but beware, the keyframes will not be deleted, so you have to delete them manually. So let me give you some other quick tips. My computer is not the best, and having many layers created, it might get very slow, but I figured out how to make it faster. We have this fast preview button. For me it's most of the times always selected, but it's much quicker, for me at least, to have it turned off. So if it's on, you might want to try to turn it off. And also I'm always have at first I work with only a 1/4 resolution. That will also make it much quicker. And of course the blurring effects are very render intensive, so you might want to apply those before rendering. Yeah, let's start with the real examples.